Hello and welcome along again. Here in this part of the setup for the PowerSync Pro server, I'm going to be adding in the Entra ID connections. Now I'm going to add one for the source, which is the Cozy Mouse Entra, and then the target as well, which is going to be the TCG, the E5 demo tenant, which we can then move machines into. That hosts the planium.com domain. So I'm going to show you how we're going to add both of those in. The second one, the target, is slightly different because we are going to add the token in so we can join machines directly into the Entra ID as well. So the first thing I want to show you is in the prerequisites for the PowerSync Pro system, you'll see the documents that we have here. One of them does go through exactly what you need to do for the Entra, the app registration, so we can connect to it. I'm going to be following this along and actually adding it in there. I will just point you to this particular location so you can see where it is. But you can see the instructions are quite extensive on how things work here. But I'm going to take you through it in real time on the Cozy Mouse tenant, just to show you what it's like when we actually do configure that on a live system. The first thing we'll do here is we'll get into Entra ID, as you can see here, and we're down in the app registrations area, and we'll just select new registration and we'll give it a name. We'll just call it PowerSync Pro and hit register. We just leave these alone. The single tenant is fine, and we'll just hit register there just to create the base app. Now in the documentation it does talk about the application lock, and if you go to the authentication and we look at settings, you'll find now that the default setting is actually to lock the application, as you can see that the property lock here, which is a good thing. If that's not selected, it's a recommendation that you do go ahead and do that. Now for our first setting, we're going to go to the redirect URI configuration, and we're going to add one in there, which will be a single page application, and it's going to be HTTP localhost 5000 with redirect on the end, and we just hit configure, and you can see that puts it in, so we can just close that one out there. So now we'll move on to our permissions that we need to put in there. So go down to API permissions and we'll add some. So we add a permission there, and there'll be the Microsoft Graph. Now we'll go to application permissions, and the ones we want to add in, and these are in the documentation as well, so you can follow along with those, but it's going to be a device reader. Now remember, this is going to be the source tenant that we're reading things from, so we don't need to have a read write. We're going to use the read writes in the target, but for the source we're just going to use the read all. So we've got the device there. I would like to type in the short name and make it easy to find things, but that's directory read all, and then we have domain read all, and also group, which we group read all again there, and a group member read all. And now the last one, which is going to be the user, which also has to be down here as well, which will be a user read all. Add those permissions in. Now if you are syncing any of the Exchange Online attributes as well, we are going to need to add another one here, which is going to be the APIs my organization uses, and you need to type in Office 365 here. You'll get the Exchange Online, and you can add application permissions, and you can see there should be Exchange Managers app, this guy. So we'll add those in as well for this one. We're going to grant the admin consent here. We'll give that right available. There we go. And lastly, we'll go and create that secret. Now this is obviously important for the connection, so we'll put in here PowerSync Pro. And so it's important that we pay attention to it because this value only pops up once. So we're going to grab that and copy it into the clipboard now, so we can put that in first. Now to put all that into the PowerSync Pro server, you can see we're in the directories. Now the directories item here is the same whether it's on the sync service or migration agent. It uses the same structure, in fact the same set as well. So if you go across the migration agent and look at directories, you're going to see the same output. It's basically the same place, but we'll do this under the sync service, and we'll hit create, and we'll tell it it's going to be the Entra ID. So we'll put in here, and we'll call this Cozy Mouse Entra ID, and you can see here client secret, that's the one that recently we put into our clipboard, so we're just going to paste that in there. But we do need the tenant ID and the application ID as well, so we can grab those back from, if we go back to the start of that, you can see there's our application ID. grab that to the clipboard, and also the tenant ID, this guy. We'll put that in there as well. Now we're going to say to import users, devices, and groups as well. And we're just going to hit save on that. We're not going to link the Entra ID exchange. We don't need that one for this particular migration. You could. You just click on that selection as well, but we'll just hit save for this one. And you see that will run the first item. It'll connect through, refresh that schema, and import the containers. Having ticks there is actually a very good sign. It shows us that it is actually connected and doing it correctly. Now for the next part of this, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it on the target Entra, which is the TCG, the E5 demo. You can see here I'm jumped into that Entra ID now, which is basically exactly the same thing, except for the fact that we're going to have write access for these APIs that come in as well. So we hit register there. So really, as I say, it's the same thing. We hit the authentication there. We can add in the redirect URL, single page application again, and that's going to be HTTP localhost 5000/redirect, and hit configure to add that in, and we'll close that off. And then we can jump across to API permissions, and these ones we'll add in here. If I go to add permission and graph application permissions, we'll find it's a very similar set, and some of them will be, as I mentioned before, be read write. Now the directory we do not need to read write. We could just need to read the directory. We just need to read the domain. But under groups, we will need to be able to create groups, and also in there read write as well. If I go to group member, I will need to be able to read write all as well in there. And the other ones here under user, go down the bottom, I will need to be able to invite all and also read write all. So add those in there. And again for this one, I will go to the Office 365 Exchange Online, and I'm going to be application permissions, and under Exchange I'll use the Managers app. Add that one as well. Now go ahead and grant that admin permission across those. Now because we want to also add machines into the Entra, I'm going to go in and add another permission here for API organization users, and we'll put in device, which is the device registration service, and you'll see there's only one we can turn on there, but we'll do that, add that permission. Now if you were just moving machines into Entra, you can back these off a little bit. It has details in the prereq document about what you'd actually not need in there, and obviously you just need things like user read. You're not going to have user read write, but have a look at those items in the document, and that will show you what you need to add in that particular case. But in this one, we're going to do the full block of API permissions so you can see everything there. But now we're going to add that secret in. So we'll go to new secret, and again we'll give it a name like so. Add that and copy. Now straight away I will jump back into this one here, and we'll create, and we do the Entra ID. Display name, now this is going to be, we'll call it TCG E5 demo as a display name, but our client secret is the first thing. Again, we'll paste straight in there. Then we can go back to the main, we'll grab the application ID, drop that in, and grab the tenant ID as well, and put that in as well there. And we'll ask it to import all of those items. We're not going to do anything with the enrollment token yet. We can't do that until we've saved this at least once. But I want to show you there's a couple of little things you need to know about adding the bulk token. So hit save there, and that should drop us in and have those directories listed now. Once it goes through and does the refresh and the import containers for the first time. And there it goes, and that is now added those two in. So what I will do is I'm going to go to the job section now, and we'll see import containers. We should see they're already configured, as you can see there, but the import objects. So let's go and run the job for both of those. Let's have a look at the Cozy Mouse Entra ID. We'll hit save there, and also we'll run the job straight away for the TCG, the target tenant, as well. What we should find is that if we just refresh that a couple of times, if it's connected correctly, you'll get the job finished. You'll get the number of inserts come up there, which you can see. Obviously a good thing when you see these numbers come up quite highly there. Now you can go ahead and check those. If you want to look at the single object reports, you then have more items in this drop down, so we can look at Entra ID here, and if you just put a star in there, you'll get a bit of a blanket look about what's there. You can see quite quickly, we can see we've got machines that are loaded into that particular Entra. So this is a really good start. It means that if we are doing any migration agent and the machines are in Entra, then they will then be added to the console as well, because they're now inside the PowerSync Pro database, because we brought them in through these three of these jobs. Now we can add in that bulk enrollment token into the TCG Evo demo directory and the tenant here. So we'll hit edit on this item, and you can see here we've got the generate token tag down the bottom here, so we'll click on that one. Now a couple of important things. You'll notice that I've jumped across and I'm using localhost 5000 for that now, because that's the we are local to the server. This has to be done preferably on the server itself because of the localhost nature. So I'm going to add in here the PowerSync Pro. Now this also has to have pop-ups enabled, otherwise it won't be able to generate that little window that asks you to log in. And you'll see that once I hit generate here, I'm already logged in with this particular user, so I can use that, but that is important that it's able to present that screen, obviously. So once it does that, it'll go ahead and create that token and should give us a prompt. There we go, saying it's been done, and that's added that UPN. So if you look inside your entry, you will see a UPN with this. This is the one that it's going to be using to join the machines to the Entra system. So we can hit save on that one, and that really concludes that configuration item. Now we have the two Entra ID directories set up, and we've had the jobs run. We brought the objects in, so we're in a good place now to start thinking about the migration jobs that we actually want to perform. Thank you for watching.